It's showtime, folks. Welcome in, Chase and Big Joe, 1025, 1063, the game on this Monday. Hope you're having a great start to your day. He is Big Joe Dubin. I'm Chase McCabe. Ian Safar on the ones and twos today. He'll be helping us out this week. Joe, we have loaned out Dr. Crane to the Stillman and Company program.
Poor guy.
But you packed his suitcase and we packed him a lunch and everything, so we sent him off.
Well, the cute thing was you placed these notes like in his suitcase and his thermos and around his thermos and then in his lunch box, and just said thinking about you, things like this. Little notes of reaffirmation for
We
him.
just want to make sure he knows we love him, and he's just helping out this week, but he'll be back.
And then we will, after a week with Stillman, he will go to therapy for 2 weeks and then come back with us.
Isn't that right, Ian?
That's right.
So good to have you in,
right.
along with us this Monday morning. Good weekend. Friday, Tennessee gets the biggest win, I would say, in their program history, beating arch rival Kentucky to advance to the Elite Eight. And yesterday, they just ran into a really good Houston team that might win the whole thing, and ultimately the journey comes to an end.
I had no idea Houston was that. I knew they were good.
Yeah,
I didn't know they were that good, and that was just something, because at one point I looked down and it was it 25-8?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what am I watching here? And it was just Houston was never in doubt for winning that game. But you know what? Nice run. Made it to the Elite Eight again for Rick Barnes, and 2 times in the last 2 years, 3 16s in a row. Not bad. Now you got to do it again. Now you lose a bunch of guys and you got to redo it again. I guess that's the fun part of doing all this. But do you call this? I don't call it a successful season.
Well, it depends on what your expectations are for this team.
Final Four.
To me, it's not. To me, the expectations for Rick Barnes and for this group is the Elite Eight, which is what they've done the last 2 years.
So you're happy with the Elite Eight?
I'm not saying I'm happy with it. I'm just saying that's what the expectations are. I mean, I would love to. Now, did this team have some talent and at times play like they could be a Final Four team? Yes. But they also showed you that there were lapses at times. I mean, I was listening to the radio coverage yesterday, and shout out to Bob Kessling and Bert Bertelkamp for signing off on the Vol Network. But I was listening to them, and they pointed out of, there just have been times this year where they go cold, and you can't have those streaks against a good team like Houston. And look, I mean, no disrespect to Rick Barnes, but he's made the Final Four one time in his career.
Correct. Yeah.
And so I feel like, and you look even back to his time at Texas, Elite Eight twice, Final Four one time, Sweet 16, a handful of times for sure. And then here at Tennessee, Elite Eight the last 2 years. So
how many Sweet 16s at Tennessee now? 3 in a row. I know 4 that he's had. Is there more than that?
3 and 4.
4, okay. I mean, look, it is what it is, but when you run number one for a while, you knock off Auburn in the tournament. I mean, I think the expectations now are Final Four. Now, you can be happy with the Elite Eight. That's fine, because it's hard to get to the Elite Eight. It's hard to get to the Final Four. I think you like this team. Great job, but I think you're a little bit disappointed you didn't make the Final Four.
Oh, look, no, and listen, I'm not saying you're happy with the Elite Eight. I don't think the fan base is happy with the Elite Eight. I think that their expectations are to make the Final Four and compete for championships. I'm just telling you the realistic expectations based on Rick Barnes' history. And again, no disrespect meant to him. Elite Eight is the best you're going to do. I mean, he just.
Would you settle for Elite Eight every year? I'm not. I'd be disappointed.
I mean, it depends on if you're Vanderbilt. Hell yeah, you would.
But look, I mean, Duke is now, Duke is now going to its 18th Final Four.
Right.
And they make it look easy. And that's the problem. They make it look easy. That's 18 Final Fours they've been to. So it's tough to get there. I mean, look, I don't think Vanderbilt, I think in this current age, it's like 1970 and up, they've never been to the Elite. I mean, it's tough to get there. So I think you need to reward that for doing that. But again, I don't think you should be satisfied making it to an Elite Eight. And it was a nice season. really nice, but it's disappointment that you couldn't get to the next level. And that's fine. Should be disappointed. Work harder.
Jill Jelnick, Fox 17 sports director, was in Indianapolis. She'll join us at 9:30 to talk more about that. But yeah, I get it. I mean, look, I'm with you, and I've probably, of anybody on this radio station, have been the toughest on Rick Barnes, especially those years where they were getting knocked out in the first and second round. I'm like, this is not what Tennessee should be doing. Now, Tennessee's not considered a blue blood in basketball, and probably never will be, but at the same time, your expectations should be better than just making the tournament.
Also, God, I'm so weird. I got a problem with this.
Okay.
So to me, a season is football, basketball, baseball. Then you reset. Football, basketball, baseball. 2024 Tennessee Vols baseball win the national championship is not on this calendar.
Correct.
So it is.
They kind of ended the
Thank you. Okay, good. I was expecting a little pushback from this, but I'm good.
No.
Yeah, right.
No.
So football made the playoff, basketball Elite Eight. Now we wait and see what baseball does. You flip back last year, baseball was a national championship. They go to Elite Eight. Football is pedestrian. They don't do what you think they would do. So it was still very successful. But like Florida in 06, they won the national championship. And then in 07, because it flips over, the basketball team wins the national championship. To me, that's the best right there.
Well,
I'm sure there might be a few others.
I think for Tennessee, you need to look at the last 3 or 4 years as a whole, just to basically the Danny White era of since he took over the athletic department. That the Vols sports are back. I mean, you have a national championship in baseball to show for it. You have multiple Sweet 16 appearances for the men's team, the women's team. And then, football has finally made the playoff. They were in playoff contention, before that.
Yeah. So I mean, look, I'm with you. Hold your head high and do that. Now you see what baseball can do, and they're off and rolling as well, too, and all that. So,
but let me ask you this.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay, this is a bigger discussion. If you are looking at Tennessee athletics as a whole, in your mind, when you talk about the big programs, and I'll put the Lady Vols in there too, what are the expectations? What are your expectations every year for football? Or in your mind, what should they be?
The expectation for me is not a championship. Just not. I mean, because they haven't won one since 1998.
Make the playoff, though, right?
Yeah.
Make the playoff. But to me, the big one is competing for the SEC. And they haven't done that really in a while.
It's been a while. I mean, they won it the last in 98. I mean, back-to-back in 97 and 98. I think with football, it's like Ian said, it's the playoff now. I mean, you need to make it. Are you expecting to win the national championship? No, but you have to get to the playoff to win the national championship. And so I think that is a goal. Get to the play. I think every team now get to the playoffs. But basketball, Rick Barnes has put it on another level now. I mean, it's Sweet 16s at least now because of what he's done.
And then for the Lady Vols, I mean, they haven't.
Are they still playing?
No, they got beat too.
Okay.
They went to the wire with Texas.
All right.
They the expectation for a long time was championships. Obviously, since Pat's been gone, it hasn't been that, but that's still kind of there. It's like, well, yeah, but they have 8 national titles. You should probably get back to that.
I'm watching Channel 5 do the report from Indianapolis. Why don't they talk to fans anymore? I don't. If I go to Indianapolis, I want to talk to fans about the excitement of going to the Elite Eight. I hear from.
Would you like me to tell you the answer? Because I think we both know the answer.
Right. When I would go on those trips, I was like, I want to find fans. That's the story. Hell, I can get Rick Barnes interview anywhere. I want to talk to fans about the experience and going up there. And afterwards, the disappointment of getting beat, you're so close to the Elite Eight, not in you didn't make it. It's like, hey, what was this ride like for you guys?
Yeah.
Because these guys, this team brings people.
I would talk to fans.
A lot of happiness. Yeah, exactly. That's why we love talking to our listeners.
And we'll ask Jill about this, but from what I could tell from TV and I was seeing on Twitter, 80% of the fans yesterday were Vols fans.
Oh, packed,
it was almost a home game.
It was. So something. All right, can I throw out our question of the day?
Yeah, go ahead.
And Chase doesn't know this, neither does Ian. It's usually sports. Sometimes it's non-sports. This is non-sports, but this drives me crazy again. It's Monday, and I get driven crazy on Monday. Talking to a friend who had twisted his left ankle. Then he said, I don't know how I'm going to brake when I drive. And I said, what? He goes, yeah, when I'm driving, I do gas and I brake with my left foot. And I'm like, what? Huh? If you're driving a stick shift, I get that because you're putting the clutch in and all that. But am I missing something? Do people drive this way
They
with an automatic? Do you drive with your right? I mean, you put the gas with your right foot and brake with your left.
no, that's weird.
Is it not okay? Thank you. I was like, what?
It's it's. I mean, if I do that, I'm slamming the brakes because I'm not used to
Right.
the pressure with my left foot.
I'm like, how do you do? He said, oh, I've always done that. Put my left foot on the brake and my right foot on the gas. I was like, are you? No, that's not how it's done.
Not like a race
Right
car.
hand?
You're
What do
not
you do?
supposed to do that. No.
Okay.
No. Race
Yeah.
car drivers may do that because they're clutching. They're using the left to.
Well,
to
everybody
go between-
uses the left for the clutch. Yeah.
Right.
Right,
I'll
but I
get
mean,
there.
but
Yeah.
like, but like they will break
With the
Some
left
will,
too?
Yeah. They'll,
The only other person I've ever heard of doing that is like my great uncle. He was,
yeah.
elderly, and he used both feet to drive.
So some do it.
I guess.
I just haven't heard that in forever. Somebody doing that. Now I'm thinking in my brain. When he told me that, I'm thinking, right. There's no way. There's no way I could drive on the road braking with my left foot. I couldn't do it. So I just thought this was kind of weird.
The question is, how do you brake?
No, do you do it?
Do you brake with your left foot?
Are you one of those who puts the brake with your left foot when you're driving in an automatic? Do you do that? I
Okay.
don't know. And now the whole time I'm thinking, are there people who do this and I'm not doing this correct or something? What's going on here? So that's 615-737-1025. Just a fun, different topic on a Monday to let me know, to clear my head, that I'm not losing my mind.
Well, you are losing your mind.
I know that.
but-
By the way, Chase, good job on the Cats game the other night, buddy.
Oh, thank you.
Well done. A lot of
Appreciate that.
fun.
Yeah, we are the radio team at home for the Cats, and they made their home debut. It was a fun game. They lost,
Well,
but
it's fun, actually.
but it was a lot of fun. Came down to the wire, the last possession, and Joe and I did the game.
Yeah, it
cool.
was. It's still funny, man, watching guys flip over the sideboards and land on the concrete over there. But it was a nice crowd. It was loud. It was fun. It was something to do. And the Cats play again on Friday night at Municipal. So, again, Municipal is important to you and I because it's kind of historic. But to see the football field in there and everything, it was a fun night. It was really fun.
Yes, hats off to everybody involved with that. 615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We're up and running on a Monday. We'll talk hoops. We'll talk Titans, owners meeting going on right now. And Brian Callahan seems to be the one talking, which is interesting. But we will talk about that and much more coming up next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Little ELO bringing us back. What's this? Evil Woman?
It is.
Good song. Good band. Jeff Lynne.
This is what Chase, when he dresses up, dances to at the club. It's on the stage.
You know what's always funny when you bring up the group, the super group, the Traveling Wilburys. You know, everybody knows Tom Petty, George Harrison, Bob Dylan, Roy Orbison.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, and then the other guy. Like, well, the other guy is like one of the best
Ever.
musicians and songwriters in Jeff Lynne.
Yeah. There's only
ELO.
two left, right? Dylan and him.
Yeah, I guess that's right. Yeah, that's crazy.
That it really is. It's such a good, fun
The
group.
music video for Into the Line is really cool because Roy had passed it at that point, and they had his guitar.
Oh, that's right. They did.
Sitting
didn't
in the
they?
chair when his part of the song came up.
Now
So,
you just do a hologram
yeah, you could.
or get Larry Bud Melman.
5956 on our text line was asking, does Eli Gold not call Cats games anymore? They actually have a streaming broadcast that Eli is a part of. So Eli and Chris Sanders did TV, we did radio.
Right.
So it was cool.
Full on with everybody.
Yeah, we
going
got to
on.
see Eli, talk to him for a minute and everything. It was great.
Chris Sanders.
Yep. We love Chris, of course. 615-737-1025. So people have weighed in on your question. Do you brake if you're driving an automatic? Do you brake with your right foot or your left foot? And Devin, hang on. Weston Clarksville, even with a stick shift, you should right foot to press the brake.
I'm just completely baffled by this. When I heard this, I was like, I just can't believe this is a thing.
9712 says Walter Jr. drove like that in Breaking Bad.
Well, he had to, right? Didn't he have cerebral palsy, right?
I don't know. I've never watched Breaking Bad.
Oh my God.
I'm one of those people because everybody told me
I
I
haven't
had
forced
to.
you, but
Everybody
at
told
some
me.
point you need to watch it.
Caleb says guy sounds like he used to race sprint cars. Maybe he did.
I guess, but when I mentioned this to you, you turned to the side and were like trying to figure out with your
Yeah.
feet. I did the same thing. I'm like, how does that?
I mean, there are certain race cars where you kind of have to do it that way.
But that's a
but-
race car. That's,
yeah,
I get that.
right.
But you're going
But I mean,
to
like
Publix,
if you've
no.
raced cars your whole life, I mean, do you do that in your passenger car? This would be a great question for a race car driver. Like, hey, when you drive your passenger car, do you brake with your right or your left foot?
What do you think they say?
I bet you there's some that use both.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm just not that smart nor talented to be able to do that. So, like, if you broke your, well, it doesn't make sense. If you broke your right foot, you'd have to do.
Yeah. Now Lisa says no, it wears out your brakes.
How's that wear your brakes out?
Well, because I mean, I know for me, if I ever have had to use my left foot,
right.
and like sometimes when I'm like on a hill, I have to do that because you want to give it a little gas, otherwise you start going backwards. And so, but you press harder
Okay.
because you're not used to the pressure.
All right. Okay. All right. I can see
Yeah.
that.
So,
But normally, if you're normal, you don't do this.
Kenneth says your friend is obviously a serial killer.
I wouldn't put it past him on this. I know he's listening.
Tommy says this was a big topic on McAfee because AJ Hawk said he breaks with left foot, and boy, did they give him hell for it.
Oh, okay. I had no idea.
It just seems not safe. What if you accidentally press the wrong foot down?
Yeah.
You're going. You're
Well,
going
you might do
somewhere.
that with your right foot too. I mean, like,
Yeah, but you can only, be on one. So
But,
if you're like,
Yeah, but it's constant pressure with your right foot on the gas if you're just normal around town. But with your left,
that's not good. Constant pressure.
I think it hurts your quad. Keep your leg elevated up to your left to throw that on the brake quickly. I don't. I'm doing it right now. I'm like, no, I couldn't do this.
Could be
I know-
Saquon quads by the end of it.
Right.
what's funny is like, you know how, certain cars are just all a little bit different. Like they're the same concept, but they all feel a little bit different.
Yeah.
Like, I like having, and most cars have them now, but I like having the dead pedal to put my left foot on, right? Or a elevation where there's something there where you can put your left foot.
Yeah.
My last two cars have had that. But like with my right foot on my old car, it was something with the brake where I could basically rest if I was going down the interstate or something, I let my foot off the gas, like could rest my foot on the brake and then easily slide it back over to the accelerator or vice versa. On the new car, like I've gotten my foot caught a few times. And I think that's,
Because you're 6'11".
well,
Why would why were you resting your foot on the brake?
I don't rest, like I don't push on it.
I
like
know, but like
because I
laying
have
softly.
cruise control
Oh, okay.
have
Do you cruise control around town?
sometimes.
Never. How do
on-
you do
on the
that?
interstate?
Hell, you can't get past 15 miles an hour in traffic.
At 3:00, no, but in the rare time that there isn't traffic, then I will.
You do cruise control around Nashville? I find this even more fascinating than left foot, right foot.
Yeah, sometimes.
Holy cow! I don't think you can. I didn't think you could.
This is what I'm disappointed in. I've just waited for somebody to be like, well, I don't ever use the brake. Like the joke of you never use the brake like a race car driver.
Oh, okay.
Don't lift, don't brake.
All right, never heard that.
Yeah. Well, now you have.
Yes.
Nevada Josh says it's bad for your transmission too because you're braking too early. You need to be lifting your foot completely off the gas pedal before you brake.
Yeah, common sense.
Yeah.
I get all this. People should know this.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we have answered this. That pretty
Good.
much everybody thinks that's kind of crazy.
And the ones who do it are aliens. Is
Yeah.
that right? Okay. Aren't from this planet.
Yeah.
And do all that. All right.
Yeah.
Things that just boggle my mind that people do.
Yeah.
That's one. Good.
So I'm glad we can make you.
Yeah.
You feel
Good.
better.
Oh, good. We got great. Look, we had our listening audience weighs in, so it's good. Oh, Mike Henry weighed in now. Yeah. Now it's solidified. Gator Mike.
Yeah.
Surprised he hadn't called in talking about his Gators, how they're going to win it all.
That's okay. Real quick before we get to Jill, Paul Kuharski is at the owners' meetings. He talked to Brian Callahan as he had a little bit of an availability this morning. Couple of notes from there. Callahan saying Bryce Oliver is capable of taking the NWI role. So they seem to like Bryce Oliver going into training camp, that he will take that role.
So 8 catches, 7 touchdowns. Nice.
Yeah. Traylon Burks not likely ready for camp, maybe the season. I'm gonna tell you this right now.
What's wrong with him?
He tore his ACL. But I'm telling you this right now. He's played his last snap for the Tennessee Titans, maybe the NFL.
Oh man.
Like
I hate it for him.
He is a bust. He is a bust. That's what he is.
And and we knew when he came into camp and had the asthma thing
Yeah.
and out for a while in 22. I hate it. I mean, I hate anybody that's going through that, but what a disappointment.
Here's your favorite. L'Jarius Sneed should be ready for camp per Callahan.
Thanks, Rand. Appreciate all that, signing injured players.
Hey, you should also thank Borgonzi because he was a part of that the other way.
No. I like Morgan for doing that. Like, get him out of town. Who's the sucker out there? Oh, wait, what about the guy in Tennessee? Let's do that.
It worked out twofold for Mike Borgonzi.
It did. And now he's like, oh, I hate that Borgonzi guy. Well, that was you. Damn it.
Coming up next, we'll get back into hoops and it all coming to an end for the Tennessee Vols. Jill Jelnick, Fox 17 sports director, was in Indianapolis covering the games. We'll get her thoughts on everything. Coming up next, it's Chasing Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game on this Monday. Hope you're having a great start to your week and to your day. The Vols run in the NCAA tournament comes to an end, and our good friend, Jill Jelnick, sports director at Fox 17, was there in Indianapolis. Jill, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Chase. Good morning, Joe. I'm good. We are headed back from Indy. We were planning on trying to come back last night, but thought better of it with the storms and feel like we made the right decision. And now we get to talk to you guys to start this Monday. So we definitely a big win.
Well, and let's start with Friday, because to me, and I know you've covered the Vols for really the past 4 years or so, but going back to your time at Chattanooga, it's even more than that. To me, this was the biggest win in program history. You're beating your arch rival in Kentucky to get to the Elite Eight. It was a great performance by them. I mean, what was that like to witness that Friday?
Incredible. It was like witnessing a moment in sports history where you knew you were watching something special. And I told everybody, including my awesome photog, Ryan Brooker, who has been with me this whole weekend, I said, I just had a feeling that the Vols were going to come out on top Friday, because it is so hard to beat a good team 3 times. And this Vols team, and historically past Vols teams, they do a little better with an edge and a chip. And there was no question they showed that on Friday. Now, talking about the crowd in Lucas Oil Stadium, because remember, that's the home of the Colts. It's an NFL stadium. They kind of blocked off half of the stadium, but where they had their arena set up around the court, Friday was 50% Kentucky, 50% Vols. And then maybe a little scattered Purdue and Houston for the late night game is scattered in there. But it was an even crowd. It was an electric environment, crazy back. Obviously, the Vols were the better team the whole way. But in terms of the environment and how loud it was in there, it was a Final Four environment. That's what I said on Fox 17 News at 9. Final Four environment, and the Vols clearly showed up that game. Unfortunately, that was not the case yesterday.
No, and I mean, you got to give Houston credit too, because that Houston defense just smothered them in the first half. I felt like they couldn't get anything going, and I was kind of looking at this was going to have to be a Meshack kind of game, and unfortunately it wasn't. And I think that, look, if Houston wins the whole thing, I'm not going to be surprised. There's a reason that they were a 1 seed, but it just felt like Tennessee couldn't get anything going in the first half. They had a little bit of life in the second half, but it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, you used the word smothering. You could also say suffocating, stifling, dominating. Houston was the better team from start to finish. And, at first, watching how slow the Vols came out, people started tweeting, oh, they're nervous. They're nervous. I was like, this team can't be nervous. This team can't be nervous to play on this stage. They were here just last year, right? This is a veteran-heavy team, especially with Zakai Ziegler and Jemai Meshack. But there's no question there was some sort of nerves going on there. It's just coming out cold. And then they kind of hit the panic button, started to press a little too much, got caught back. Their transition defense struggled. There was no question that there were some nerves coming out of that Vols team, and Houston, credit to the Cougars, took advantage. That's the number 1 defense in the country.
Oh no, Houston's not liking that talk.
I talked about the crowd on Friday. On yesterday, that arena was 90% Vols fans. By the time around tip-off, I was like, oh, yeah, 80-20. No. It was then 90%, and you could hear them every time the Vols scored, and when they were on defense as well. The Big Orange fans showed up. They wanted to be able to say that they saw the game where the Vols advanced to their first ever Final Four, and unfortunately for those fans that made that trip, it just was not in the cards yesterday.
Talking to Jill Jelnick, Fox 17. Jill, follow me on this. Is it easier for the Vols knowing they were never in this game instead of losing on a last-second buzzer beater?
That's a great question, Joe. And I asked myself that yesterday, because having played college sports, having played college softball at ECU, I've had games where we've lost in the last inning, off of a walk-off, right? That pain. And then I've also played in games where we lost and did not show up that day. The one that's in my opinion, the one that sticks with you and keeps you up at night for years and years to come is going to be that last second play. So maybe you could make the argument, yes, it stings a little less because they know they weren't the better team. The Vols were not the better team. Anybody watching that game knows they were not the better team. And so you could maybe sleep a little bit better, but it's still gut-wrenching. Gut-wrenching and painful.
Yeah, and with that being said, I mean, so there's a level of disappointment, a level of hurt, and then also there's got to be a level of pride for getting to the Elite Eight. And that's a lot of emotions to throw on a 21-year-old man after all he's been through, I think.
I asked the Vols in their post-game presser yesterday, I said, how do you balance the highs of this season with the heartbreak of this game? And both Sakai Ziegler and Jemai Mashack got emotional. Mashack was just tears coming down his cheeks. He was almost unintelligible. You couldn't even hear what he was saying because he was so emotional. But they basically said, we are going to cling to this team and the brotherhood that they built this season. That's what they're going to fall back on. That's what they're going to remember the most. They are proud of their successes this season. This is one of the best teams Vols men's basketball has ever had. And even head coach Rick Barnes said that Kai Ziegler and Mashack will go down as two of the best who ever have played in the program. So they will cling to the highs of this season, but there's no question that they will always remember just how close they were to the first ever Final Four.
You know, when a season's over, people, fans, coaches reflect on what's going on. Any indication that Rick Barnes is going to say, you know what, it's been a great run, take care. I think he comes back for a long time, but there's some out there that think that, you know, it's been a good ride and it's time.
He's 70 years old. For those that do not know, Rick Barnes is 70 years old. He's done this for a long time. And he is one of the most winningest coaches that has never won a national title. However, that question about retirement was asked earlier this week. Rick Barnes met it head on and said, I will know when it's time to hang it up, and I don't feel that right now.
There you go.
So with that said, you know, we kind of started the show talking about this. Jill Jelnick is with us from Fox 17. That, you know, Vols fans certainly should be disappointed today. But, you know, it was a good season. You made a good run. You made it to the Elite Eight. To me, the realistic expectations for Rick Barnes and this program should always be the Elite Eight. Now, you obviously want to do better than that and make the Final Four. There were times this year that I thought this team was good enough to do that and to compete for a championship. But ultimately, they came up short in that. To you, Jill, when you look at the Vols, you look at a Rick Barnes coach team, do you agree with that? What are realistic expectations for them moving forward?
I'll start by saying this. There was an analyst on the broadcast this weekend that said, in men's college basketball, if you could take a program to a Final Four once every 10 years, that is a remarkable achievement. Once every 10 years, just reach a Final Four, not even win a national title. That quote sunk in with me because it really describes how difficult it is to get to the Final Four, to get that far in the tournament, and then to do it consistently. I believe that Rick Barnes, his time at Tennessee, he has absolutely lifted this program to its highest level it's ever been. And the back-to-back elite appearances is proof of that. Is that now the standard? It is. It's the standard he set. Yes, I absolutely. And I believe that Rick Barnes is a brilliant coach and definitely has the capability to getting the Vols past the Elite Eight and into the Final Four. You have the transfer portal, NIL, you have a lot of other variables that haven't been around the last several decades, right? But what he has done at the Vols program with the Vols program has been so extremely elevating, right? That's the best word. He has elevated that program to new heights. He has set a new standard. I believe you give Rick Barnes as much time as he wants to continue his path with the Big Orange because I believe he's earned it. And I do believe that if they got to rebuild, they got to reset next year. They got a lot of key players to replace, but he's proven that he can go out in the transfer portal and get some one and go dynamite players. So I believe you give him the keys. You see how long he's able to take this big orange train and let it keep riding.
All right, Jill. With that said, Florida, Auburn, Houston, Duke, who comes out of the Final Four, and ultimately who cuts down the nets to win the national championship?
If you asked me before this tournament, I would have told you Florida. But now I'm going to say Duke. Duke
Okay.
and Cooper Flag looked so phenomenal against a really good Alabama team the other night. That is a good Alabama team. And really, that was Duke's game from start to finish. Florida has not been as dominant in this tournament as we watched them be dominant in the regular season. That's my reasoning there. Auburn's another great team. Watching Houston was great. But there was something about Cooper Flag and that Duke team that made me say, wow, if Tennessee has to play them, that's going to be tough. So I think just from watching these Elite Eight games, Duke looks like the team that could get it done.
Going to be fun to watch for sure. Jill, thanks so much for doing this. Safe travels back to Nashville, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys. We're also braking with our left foot on the drive, so it's taking us a longer time. We're testing it out. Taking us a little bit longer because it's a little weird, not going to lie, but we'll let you know how it goes when we get back.
Thank you. Tell that Ryan Brooker guy, he's crazy. He's an alien. So
Crazy. Bye, guys. Take care.
thank you.
Thank you, Jill. Jill Jelenic, Fox 17 sports director, joining us here on the show. I think I agree with all of that. You know what she said, and we'll see with Rick Barnes. I think he's back, and the Vols hit the reset button just like any college sport team does now.
But you got to go out. You got to go out and find the guys again. You got to. They're all doing it, so it's a different.
I think some of them you do, but I think some of them will find you too because they know.
Yeah, but to have a Zakai Ziegler and what he did and what he makes the program as a point guard and just 40 minutes every night. He gave you 40 minutes every night. And as a coach, that's all you can ask, and that's what he gave. It's gonna be tough to find somebody to replace him.
I will tell you this too: when they showed Jemai Meshack after the game, who was having to be consoled and had the towel over his head and the emotion. I obviously feel for that young man. I don't want him to go through that. But I also, at the same time, just gain a ton of respect because what do we always talk about? You want players on your team that hate losing. That's a guy that, obviously his career had come to an end at Tennessee, but he hated to lose. And I
agree,
love the
man.
emotion.
I agree.
Chasing Big Joe on this Monday. We're broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, the game on this Monday. A little bit of news out of college football, and I find this to be interesting, but Stanford will be hiring Frank Reich as the interim head coach for 2025. It's a one-year deal, and then they're going to go full-on coaching search because they're so late in the game, but they went with Frank Reich. Now, Andrew Luck, I think, is the GM of Stanford football or something like that. And so, there's obviously some tie-in there. But Frank Reich going to coach Stanford for a year, and then who knows what happens after that.
A coach was let go because of something went on at Stanford, allegations of was sexual harassment, allegedly. Reports, but with Frank Reich, you Houston Oilers fans should know Frank Reich well, because remember, he led the Bills back in the playoff game that was January of '93. He also led Maryland to one of the biggest comebacks in college football. They beat Miami in 1984. He took over for Boomer Esiason there. So anyway, that's for 1 year. Just kind of.
Yeah, it was Taylor was fired last week amid findings by two outside firms that he had bullied and belittled female athletic staffers, sought to have an NCAA compliance officer removed after she warned him of rules violations and reportedly made inappropriate comments to another woman about her appearance. So there you go.
Just shut your mouth. Just don't bully. Shut your mouth and be blessed that you have a great job. And now you're out of a job. So I think with this Frank Reich thing is it's so late in the season that the deal is come in here. You got the coordinators. You can't move your staff. And it's too late. It's basically April to do this. So come in, steady the ship, and we'll look for a coaching search next year, which I think is smart.
They're going to promote the tight ends coach, Nate Byam, to offensive coordinator.
Okay.
So he'll call the plays for the car. So Frank Reich won't even call the plays.
No, I just think he's a figurehead.
Yeah.
Look, when Eddie George took over Bowling Green State, he had to get rid of 4 guys.
Right.
So it's late March. There's no job openings really that's going on right now. So I think with Frank Reich going there to Stanford to say, look, all right, I just need you for a year. Obviously Andrew Luck knows Reich from Indianapolis. So there's a friendship there, and just kind of keep things going forward, and we'll figure it out as we go ahead. But I thought it was interesting. The GM made the call on this, not the athletic director.
Well, that's how this is going. I mean, it's going to there. It's going to be set up like the NFL, that you're going to have a GM, and the GM is going to basically
But something like this,
run the program.
I think the athletics director needs to step in and say, because this is not football.
Yeah.
This is harassment. This is
Sure.
bullying.
And maybe they did. I don't know. But
Yeah.
it is certainly an interesting thing. And look, good for Reich that now he kind of gets an opportunity to showcase himself. I don't think he'll ever be a head coach in the NFL again, but I mean, he certainly could be an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I mean, he was good at that. So, I mean, he made Carson Wentz look good.
He did. My goodness.
At least one time they were together.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, but I've never heard, I mean, I get why they're doing it this way, because it's so late in the game, but this is kind of a new one to me of a 1 year interim coach.
That's it. Don't rock the ship. Come in
Yeah.
here and just do your job, and we got everybody in place and go forward there. But I just found all this interesting with Luck making the announcement that goes on here. That's just me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how it rolls.
I mean, he was at Indianapolis for 5 seasons.
Yep, and never did anything. Did they make the play?
Lost to KC in the playoffs in
Yeah.
18 and in
I think
20.
Rivers, they made the playoffs with Rivers
Yeah.
once, right?
That's right.
Get you, Ian.
I
lost
forgot.
to Buffalo.
See, here's the thing. I forget Rivers was there for that year.
Oh, they played that musical chairs for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had Wentz. They had Rivers.
I guess kind of Flacco.
One more.
Yeah. Flacco.
Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan.
Oh, that's
Matt
right,
Ryan.
Matt Ryan.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. But yeah, that'll be a trivia question when Rivers goes into the Hall of Fame. Who was the other team he played for a year?
Right. And there were some grumblings last year of him going down the stretch.
Yeah.
Like if a team needs somebody to read, that's how bad quarterback play is now in the world, is that you're looking for guys who've been retired since, like, Rivers stopped in 20. So he's been on the league.
Well, wasn't
3
he
years.
having like a 9th kid? So maybe he
He's got his own team. I don't know why. If you had him and his wife, that's 11.
They're good to go.
You're right down there. He used to live right down the road in Athens, Alabama. I don't know where he is now.
I think he was coaching down there.
I don't know what the latest.
He was
update is,
he was one of those that retired and started coaching.
which a lot of them do there, right?
Yeah.
And then you look at your boy, the tight end from Jason Witten.
Yeah.
He's become his powerhouse. I think he's in Texas.
Yeah. I mean, good for them.
You hated Phillip Rivers. Everybody hated Phillip Rivers.
I did. He
Seems
was
like
one of
just a
the.
little bit of a crybaby.
Yeah. He did kind of like to be and moan sometimes.
He is, yeah. St. Michael Catholic High School in Alabama. Let me see where that is. That's in Fairhope, Alabama, man. Oh, it's down by Mobile, Alabama.
Okay.
Alabama. Yeah.
What would you have done Saturday if I just turned around and go, Eli, can you just say Alabama for me one time?
He'd have got up and slapped you.
Probably.
He's like, Alabama, you can't sit there next to my wife.
Oh, want to win tickets to a Preds game? To be listening to Robbie and Rex Road tomorrow morning.
Yes, indeed.
For Preds Pick to Click. All you have to do is guess a Preds goal scorer, and if they put the puck in the back of the net, you'll be a winner. Be listening tomorrow morning for the Clear Call on Robbie and Rex Road. Brett Kern coming up next, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 2, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game on this Monday. He's Big Joe. I'm Chase McCabe. Ian Safar in with us this week. We continue the discussion as the owners' meetings in the NFL get underway. We say hello to our favorite punter, the one and only Brett Kern, who is on the line with us. Brett, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm just looking at this NFL coach's picture, and if they just could have switched Dan Quinn and Coach Callahan with Vrabel standing up, that would have been, a pretty epic picture.
Yeah. So Brian Callahan, spoke a little bit to the media. I guess it was yesterday, and talked about things. What I found interesting, and you know how this goes, Brett. Even as a player, we all know what lion season is like, and they are certainly in lion season right now. Callahan says they have a short list of prospects for the number 1 pick, that basically it's down to 4. So good to know that, because, I believe that for 1 second, that's for sure. I mean, this is what you have to do, right? It's a game you got to play.
It's the game you got to play. Obviously you have to show interest where interest needs to be shown. And nothing's official, obviously, until that slip is turned in. So, like you said, it's lion season. Things are going to be said to kind of sway people to the left, to the right, to this guy, to that guy. The number 1 pick is a huge pick. And, if they decide to go with Cam Ward, then that's who, they're going to go with. But obviously, they need to build around him, right? If you're drafting a quarterback, in those first 3, 4, 5 picks, right? The odds, historically of them being successful are, pretty slim. You're going to a bad team. It's not like, you're Lamar Jackson, you get the 32nd pick and, you're absolutely loaded, right? On offense and defense. You can kind of come in and play quarterback and be a game manager. And look what that's done for his career compared to the amount of quarterbacks, that have come in, that top 5 pick and, haven't succeeded. I think everybody gets, so attached to what Jaden's done. CJ Stroud to an extent, somebody like Joe Burrow, where they come in and it's like, instant success, right? I mean, I don't know the exact numbers statistically, but it's a very low chance. So obviously Titans have 8 picks. You're done with your first wave, your second wave of free agency. You're going to have your third wave probably post draft when you get, you find out who you get in the draft, your undrafted free agents. Maybe you need to go out and sign somebody else, guys that are still out there. And then you got your 4th wave, which is pre-training camp, right? You kind of see what a lot of guys have done in the off season, with your OTAs, your mini camp, and you obviously still need to fill some holes. And so who else is out there that can help you out? So those draft picks are huge. Obviously, I think we all know that if you're going to go get Cam Ward, to how do you help support him?
Brett Kern is with us. Yeah. And speaking of that support, I mean, to me, they got to draft a receiver in the first. I mean, if they're going to go quarterback number 1 in the 2nd or 3rd round, and they currently don't have a 3rd round pick. And, what I'm kind of faced with or thinking about is you have 35 that you could obviously use, and there will probably be a good receiver there at 35. Or do you try and trade that pick back, hoping to keep a 2nd rounder, but pick up a 3rd rounder at the same time? Because I think they need obviously more draft capital to use, so how do you look at that at that point?
Yeah, I think a lot just depends on who's available at 35. Like if there's a guy you absolutely love, because your picks, obviously with 1, 1st round, 2nd round, those guys need to be impact players from the start, right? 3rd round, those guys are definitely, still available. You got 2 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th. I don't know, package something together to maybe try to move up to the 3rd, some of those away. I don't know. I know they got charts for all that stuff and this and that, but like I said, if there's a guy that you absolutely love, that's an impact player, obviously you have to take him because that's such a huge pick. If you feel like there's still some value left and you can get maybe a late 2nd rounder and a 3rd rounder, maybe 2 in the 3rd, I don't know. But the more picks that you can get, I think the better off, the Titans will be.
Brett Kern on the People Show, Chasing Big Joe Show. Brett, back to that NFL picture of all the coaches. There are 32 coaches. 24 of them look like Nate Bargatze. They've all got the scruffy beard and the cool looking jacket on. They all look the same.
I know it's awesome. And the crazy part is, I'm looking at this picture and how many guys, from Jonathan Gannon, I remember when he was with the Titans kind of as like I don't want to say a coffee boy, but, just started out. I mean, it was him. Well, it was him and Arthur Smith. I mean, they were just, this was before the iPads and all that kind of stuff. And man, they'd be drawing cards, whether it was scout cards, everything for practice and just to see, how they started, right? And then to see now he's in this picture, as the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, right? It's just amazing just to see that, right? The work that he's put in to where he started, with the Titans way back. I think it was like 2011, maybe 2012, and to now that he's in this picture is it's pretty amazing.
It is. All right, so there's a lot of momentum now to ban the tush push in the National Football League. Let me ask you this though: what if you're at the 3-yard line, you're falling down, and I can carry you to the end zone? Is that also outlawed? I'm helping you with the ball and getting the end zone. It's the same as pushing you forward. I would think there's a lot of abnormalities here to say that with this rule, if they're going to ban the tush push.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've seen multiple times where, a running back is kind of stood up, by a linebacker, maybe, down ball safety, something like that. And then all of a sudden you see an offensive line come and almost grab the ball carrier, whether it's a quarterback or running back, and they literally just pull them in. So, is that considered a tush push? Or what's the difference between a tush push? I understand like a quarterback sneak, they're different,
right? But
are you now kind of barring a quarterback sneak to an extent? How are you able to tell the difference? That's a pretty interesting, I don't know. It's interesting to take because where do you, it's kind of like, where do you, how you're hitting a quarterback, right? You're all of a sudden you're going to start to leave a lot at the ref's discretion, which we all know is probably not the best thing to happen. So, I just think it's one of those things you outlaw the tush push. It's like, where does it stop? Like, what is okay? What's not okay? And it just seems murky, seems cloudy.
It does. It also goes back to the holy roller rule where Ken Staber threw the pass to Dave Casper. He was falling down and he just kind of, lost the football. It happened to go 10 yards forward and they scored a touchdown off that. I just think it should be a rule. I can't help you go forward. You know what I'm saying? I can't help you move the ball forward. I think if you're going to ban it, ban all types of help for the running back or whoever has the ball to go forward, and then you're done with it and move forward. This is going to get, I think, more and more talked about because, like you just said, where do you draw the line?
Where do you draw the line? Right. Here's the other one that I thought about, and I thought about it for a long time, is the whole, you got a guy running back, he's at the 1 yard line, and he fumbles into the end zone and it goes out the back of the end zone. How do you feel about that? Do you think he should get it where the ball was fumbled, right? Or is that, hey, it's a touchback? You lost it, went through the end zone. That's, hey, shame on you.
Yeah, touchback.
I hate that rule though.
Because the ball's still live.
If you fumble, but here's the thing: if you fumble the ball anywhere else and it goes out the sideline, you just get the ball there. Whereas this, you get I think you get it at the 1 is what I would propose instead of a touchback.
So many rules.
Right? That's crazy. I don't know I don't know what you come up next with all that, but to see how this is going.
The real question is, what's the next special teams rule that's going to get altered? So I'm waiting for that one.
They're going to make the punter just fair game. You can just blast the punter every time.
Great. Glad I'm retired.
Brett Curd is with us. So Bill Barnwell does this every year for ESPN. He basically does a mock draft with all trades, giving trade scenarios for that team's pick. So he has given this one for the Titans at number 1 overall, a 3-team trade in which between the Titans, the Falcons, and the Browns. The Titans trade 1-1. They get 1-2, a third-round pick, which is 67th overall, a 2026 second from the Browns, and quarterback Kirk Cousins with cash considerations from the Falcons. The Falcons get a 2026 7th-round pick from the Titans. The Browns get 1-1 and a 2026 6th-round pick from the Titans. Would you do that
Wow.
if you were the Titans?
So you say, so in essence, are you saying would you take Kirk Cousins over Cam Ward?
Basically, but you still have the second overall pick.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
And you get a third rounder this year and a second rounder next year.
I mean, that's a lot of picks.
I would do it. Yeah.
I think I would do that too. Yeah. How accurate is Bill?
I mean, there are some that he'll throw out there that you're like, I don't think that
Like off
would,
the
and
wall?
like, I don't think this would happen, but I would
Right.
do it. I would certainly do it.
Yeah. I mean, where do you, well, yeah. I mean, like I said, I mean, you're getting a veteran quarterback, which people can, say what you want to say about Kirk Cousins. Right. But like I said, you're getting more picks. And I think, the Titans are at a spot now where they need more picks. And so that would be pretty crazy if that happened, though. That'd be pretty crazy if it happened.
Well, also, I mean, they're just the thing with these owners meetings down here, they get together, and I think 31 teams, like we go back to the touch push, 31 teams are going to say, we hate it. And the Eagles be like, we kind of like that play. Leave it in there
Works.
for a little bit. I just don't, I mean, there's always tinkering going on with the games. I just don't know what the next thing is. It's going to be, we're all in on this. Just leave the game alone, right? Just leave it alone.
Yeah. Well, I remember this was probably 2018, 2019, and a couple of the special teams coaches proposed that if you punted the ball out of bounds, right, it was a 15-yard penalty. And I thought, well, there goes my career, because I usually, to keep away from the returners and, Tyreek Hill and Darren Sproles and all those guys, right? Like you have to directional and try to put it out of bounds. And so, guys come up with, whether it's special teams coaches, assistant coaches, they try to come up with stuff and rule changes and all that kind of stuff to kind of favor their team, because the special teams coaches that proposed this, I think it was like 6 of them came together, right? They all had, some of the best returners in the league. And so they didn't want the ball punted out of bounds. They obviously wanted the ball, to their returner to help impact the game, right? So, I mean, these rules, all this kind of stuff is proposed all the time, every year. How much of it actually gets through? Obviously, the tush push is making a push to get through, but some, like I said, some of the special team stuff. I mean, the whole punting the thing out of bounds, 15-yard penalty, that got turned down pretty quick. Especially by the guys that have directional punters. So rules are proposed all the time. How many of them make it through? I don't know, but I'll be curious to see how far this one goes.
I think it's funny, according to the ESPN story about the tush push, some of the officials met in the hallway afterwards, and it was a very heated debate about all that's going on here. So the fact there's all this chaos within the meeting about the tush push makes me smile, because I love it when millionaires argue over the simplest thing. So let these guys do it. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a crazy play. I mean, it's pretty much rugby, right? I mean, it's whatever you. Yeah, it's. So I don't know. I mean, I remember. I think it was the Super Bowl where they did the tush push, and Chris Jones gets up and his neck and all, and you look at the replay and you're like, yeah, I mean, he just got absolutely squashed, right?
Yes.
That definitely had to hurt. So any team that has to deal with the tush push is probably like, man, we got guys that potentially are getting hurt. Maybe a guy has gotten hurt. Like this needs to be done, right? But then you look at a normal QB sneak and you're like, this is just as dangerous, right? So I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see.
It's funny. It's a video out there. The opening of the 1990 NFL on CBS is like a 55-second little video. All those plays they show in that video would be banned today, like dropping that quarterback on his helmet, hitting the head. I mean, just all these plays that have banned. So football has evolved in 35 years, Brett, and I think now it's safer than ever with the helmet, the way you're teaching guys to tackle. It's just that this next step here with the tush push, as you talked about, I mean, guys could get crunched on there, but again, it is football. You know what you signed up for.
There's a 100% chance that you're going to get hurt when you play football, even if it's the kicker, the punter. Everybody gets hurt. A lot of guys are playing hurt. It's just a part of the game. So obviously you want to try to minimize injury as much as possible, because the science, the technology, guys are, like when I'm done playing, I can go, get a full body medical exam, all that kind of stuff. Well, all of a sudden you got a bunch of guys doing that, and the data is, public, right? And so with everybody getting hurt and all the injuries and all that stuff being made public, they're trying to obviously make it as safe as possible. They're trying, for the most part, while still having an entertaining game. But guys, like I said, guys are going to get hurt. It's just a part of the game, and you just hope that your injuries are not career ending. You hope that you can play as much as you can during the season, and you have a long career.
Brett, good stuff as always. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
Absolutely. Y'all have a good week.
You too. Brett Curtin, former Titans punter, joining us here on the program. I just saw something on the TV on First Take that if Titans fans think that it could be bad for them this year, it could be worse for another team if this actually happens. We'll discuss that coming up next. Chasing Big Joe on this Monday, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, 102.5, 106.3, The Game. Chasing Big Joe 102.5, 106.3 The Game on this Monday. Good to have Ian Safar with us. 615-737-1025 is our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. So I saw this on First Take. You weren't paying attention, so I'm glad you didn't see it. Mike Tomlin said he would be comfortable with Mason Rudolph being the team's starting quarterback. So Titans fans, if you're not feeling good about either Cam Ward or whatever else they're going to throw out there right now, it could be worse. You could still have Mason Rudolph.
Well, to be fair, in 23, did he not lead the Steelers to the playoffs?
I don't know if he led them to the playoffs, but he did.
He didn't lose it for him.
He did start a playoff game for them.
And does he not have a winning record as a quarterback for the Steelers? I think he does.
Yeah.
I mean, he filled in for Big Ben for a while.
Show it to me in 17 games.
But if Mike Tomlin says he's okay, all right, Mike would know better than anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, you put Bart Starr behind last year's Titans team, you're not getting this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The fact that he's passed away too doesn't help. But I'm saying, so if
Might
Mike
played better than Levis.
He's 8-4-1 as a starter with Pittsburgh.
that's
Okay.
better than 4-8-1, right? Am I looking the optimist here? I think
So
I am.
what's Levis's record with the Titans? It's probably around the same, isn't it? Well, I don't know if it's a winning record, but so he probably has a better record.
Well, hold on. So Ian's looking it up. Levis gets credit for the Miami win on Monday Night Football because he started and Mason Rudolph came in
Yeah,
the game.
technically.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he had thrown a boneheaded pick.
Look at Ian. He's just on it.
It's about the same number of starts.
Ian's not
probably.
used to being complimented.
It's 5-16.
5 and 6. Okay, so he's started a few more games then, but not by much. 8-4, so it's 12, 13. So yeah.
God,
Okay.
Levis is 5-16. When you say it like that, I'm like, cut him today.
So 13 starts for Rudolph to 21 starts for Levis.
But
Well, Rudolph's career is 9-8-1.
Yeah.
That was just Pittsburgh.
yeah, so you got to add in
Oh,
the
yeah.
Titans
I
stuff
forgot,
to him.
I forgot he did start some.
That's right.
That's how much I've put last
Yeah,
year
1-4
out of
last year for old Mason Rudolph.
my-
Oh.
Oof.
Look, if Mike Tomlin, and I wonder what Art Smith thinks about this. It's like, who would you rather have on your team? Because
I
right
mean, look,
now,
they're gonna have Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is going to be the starting.
Why do you think
quarterback
it's
for the-
taking so long, though?
Because he's Aaron Rodgers and
Yeah,
they let him.
I'm with
Like, I mean,
he's
like
trying to figure out that's Titans deal for him. Who's the quarterback of the Steelers right now besides Mason Rudolph?
Mason Rudolph.
Because they got rid of Pickett, they got rid of Russell Wilson's gone,
Yeah,
And Fields was the
and
other
Fields is gone.
I mean, I think, I think there is one more on the roster, but
watch them make a play for like a Jackson Dart. Steelers.
I
could
still
trade
think
up.
I still think if they sign Rodgers, they could draft somebody, like a Jackson Dart or something.
Let me ask you this right here. Would you take a trade from the Steelers if they flip flop? They're picking like what, 20th or something. You get their number one this year, number one next year, and they gave you TJ Watt.
I mean, you're giving me more than that, but yeah. I mean, I'd do it.
What more do you
one.
want?
Yeah, they picked 21st.
Yeah.
21st. Okay.
They have Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson. Those are the quarterbacks on the roster.
Well, Titans got Brandon Allen and Tim Boyle. I mean, that's
And Levis.
And Levis.
and
Don't
Levis.
forget
Not
Levis.
bad. Not bad. Would you take that if you're a Steeler fan? If they flip flop, they get your number one, and they're gonna give you TJ Watt. I want number one this year, number one next year, and TJ Watt. You pick 21st, you take Jackson Dart, and you got TJ Watt.
Maybe. I mean, then you're going to sign Rodgers.
I don't know. I will get to that later on. Right now, I'm just concerned about getting flip.
You make that trade. You're going. Hey, Aaron, how you doing?
Okay.
Could you,
all right. Would you feel better about that? I mean, so you've got Jackson
really.
Dart, you got Aaron Rodgers, you got TJ Watt, you get a second round, get their second rounder too.
Are you not a little worried about? I mean, TJ Watt's been banged up some.
He's good.
I know. Oh yeah, look, he's got a Hall of Fame resume, just like his brother.
I mean,
but-
what are we doing here? We're rearranging deck chairs in the Titanic. Is that what we're doing?
Pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, just have some fun with it. That's why I said sign Rodgers. If we're going to have fun, let's have fun. Let's have some fun this year. I don't watch Brandon Allen throw the football. Get
I
intercepted.
mean, look, the Titans are they got their priorities straight. They're worried about the PR guy and what the uniforms look like. So we just need to trust them to get to do this, you know.
Right. Quick. How can we change the attention of everybody? Let's do that.
Hey, fire Robbie and let's get new uniforms, all right?
I don't know what's going on, but make me happy to do something like that. I think more and more people are not jumping on the Cam Ward fan wise train. They're not. From people I talk to,
I just think
and
people
see.
don't know what to expect with him, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. At the
He's
same
not
time.
a surefire
No,
number
he's
one.
not. But what if he is? I mean, like what? I mean, what if he is that guy?
You know he's not. Chaser, you know deep down he's not.
No,
the guy.
I know he's not. I'm just trying to have fun. Like
Sign
you.
Rodgers and let's go with this. I mean, if they stay where they are and sign Cam Ward, right? And then draft in the second round a receiver, are you happy with this?
I got a question. I'm being facetious here when I ask this.
Okay.
If the Tennessee Titans came out and said, we have decided that we're going to take the year off and we're going to reset and we're going to completely clean house and we're just going to reset and take the year off, do you think people would care?
Take the year off. I like that. We're gonna take the year off.
we're gonna call a full. We're gonna take the
year off. You'll never recover from that for one. But
no, but I kind of feel like this is where the fan base is at. Like there's the segment that I refer to, Ian, on this show. I refer to the segment of the fan base that Jared might say you people. I call them two-tone till I die.
Okay.
There's that group
Yeah.
that will support them through thick and thin. But I think a majority of people are like, yeah, I don't care. I really don't care what you guys do.
So let's have fun. Sign Aaron Rodgers. Bring him in here. Sling the ball free. If you're going to go 3-14, let's have fun at 3-14. I think if you sign Aaron Rodgers, they sign Aaron Rodgers. This team does not go 3-14. This team is competitive the entire season to fight to the playoffs.
Bryce Oliver becomes a Pro Bowler.
Because look, again, I know you hate when I say this. All you got to do is be better than 3 teams, and 2 of them are pretty crappy. So you just got to be better than the Texans. That's it. That's all you got to do is be better. The Colts are gone. The Jags are forever terrible. Goodbye. And now you got to fight the Tech. And Bobby Slowick's gone. There's a lot of problems down in Houston right now. CJ Stroud, he's not the same as he was.
They don't have much of an O-line.
So, yeah, right? So you got this weird shot of making the playoffs if you hire Aaron Rodgers. Go do it.
And also call Jacksonville and swindle them out of a 4th-round pick for Levis.
Hello.
Hey, Liam. Nashville's calling about Will Levis. Get him here.
Yeah. And he's got his boy with him.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And
throw in a couple General Jackson cruise tickets too as well. So if you come here, we got you covered. Make it really look like he'll do something.
I will give them that and a free tour of the Goo Goo factory, Goo Goo cluster.
I mean, can I sign up right now on that? Because I would.
We will do that.
I absolutely would do that.
And maybe a dinner at the Bluebird or something.
Nah, it's getting too much.
Yeah,
you got connections at Loveless?
Not anymore.
You know, I found out who owns it, Loveless. I'll tell you during the break. I had no idea.
Okay. I probably know who you're going to say, but okay.
It's not Will Levis.
It's not Will Levis.
Okay.
615-737-1025. We're also going to give away some Preds tickets coming up here in just a little bit. Hey, we're excited about this. Joe, you've been a part of this the last few years. The 4th annual 615 Open Charity Golf Tournament. Cromwell Media, along with Fox 17, Outfront Media, and Social Indoor. We're proud to announce it's going to be back at Hermitage Golf Course on Thursday, May 29th to make a difference while having a great time. This is a labor of love that we've had the last few years, and we have fun whenever we're out there. They generally don't ask us to play, which is probably a good thing, but we love to entertain. So you can join us and a few guest media members, athletes, and musicians as we raise money for Folds of Honor. Donations will go to provide life-changing scholarships to families of Americans, fallen or disabled military and first responders. So just sign up to play, or you can be a sponsor at 615open.com. Again, we're very excited about this. Sign up to play or sponsor at 615open.com. Broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Chasing Big Joe with you on this Monday. So again, we talk about line season because that's what I think Titans coach Brian Callahan is doing, and as he should. With the owners' meetings going on right now, TD has an article out this morning talking about where Callahan says, quote, "We're open to everything at this point. If it's something you feel is beyond the value you ever thought you could get, that's one thing. But you also have to look at what a potential quarterback could look like. Those guys to me are priceless," end quote. According to Callahan, the Titans are 2 weeks away-ish from making their decision on the first pick. Bull bleep. Callahan added that they have to still work through the process and that they have more, here's that word they all love, touch points to go through with the prospects, namely Colorado's pro day to see Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. Guys, they've made the decision. Come on. You don't, and here's why I know they've made their decision.
Boring.
And if I'm wrong on this, I'll admit it. But there was one thing they did that pretty much told me they're going Cam Ward. They sent Jim Wyatt. I'm serious. They sent Jim Wyatt. That told me everything I needed to know. If you're sending Jimmy to the pro day and the workouts and all that stuff, I'm like, they're all in.
Okay.
You're not buying that?
Well, now that I am a little bit, I think it's just, I want the excitement. I think
they're probably going to send Jimmy to Colorado now that we've all kind of noticed this, but I'm telling you, I just think that has something to do with it.
This whole like, all right, we've settled on it. To me, that's boring. I want the excitement. You have so much capital. I mean, do you truly believe Cam Ward is a guy to lead your team for the next 10 years? I don't. And I don't think you either. I don't think you believe it either.
No. I don't think anybody truly believes it, but I think they're going to do it.
Trade the value. Get all you can grab with this. I mean, you're now in the catbird seat. Give me what you got. Give me 5 draft picks for this one.
You know what I would do?
Gosh.
I'll tell you what I would do. If I had on paper, notarized, the Supreme Court's looked at it, like if I had a document that basically said, your job is safe if you do what I'm about to say, because this would be the best move for the future.
And that is,
I would trade the pick, get a ransom for it, get as much as I could, and I would start either Allen or Levis and just know that I'm going to suck again this year, and then turn around and do it all over again. Because what did Borgonzi say when he got hired? We're going to build through the draft. The best way to build through the draft is to not be very good and to get good draft picks.
So you have an opportunity now to get some guys.
Yeah, you trade out of this pick. Now, this is not the year to have the number 1 overall pick. We all got that. But you still could get some good draft capital out of that. And then basically just say, hey, we're not good. We're not a good team. We haven't been a good team for a while.
All right.
We're going to continue to not be a good team because we're building to be a good team. And the best way for us to do that is to use all these draft picks to get these guys in here and build through our prospects.
So you get Cam Ward, you go 3-14, you're fine. Callahan does not come back.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going back to what I've said all along, that you trade that pick to get more capital, but you're not going to replace your quarterback with, you're not getting Aaron Rodgers. I'm just telling you, you're not getting Aaron Rodgers.
I hope they get him now.
If they do, then you get a parade. Like we'll line Dagwood up out in the parking lot.
I don't want to parade. I just want to put my finger in your face and say, I told you.
That's
so.
fine.
Okay.
We'll do that.
You
can do that. But I don't think it's going to happen. If you're basically saying we're not taking a quarterback in this draft, then go with the 2 guys you have that are not good. They're both backups. That's what they are. And just continue to be bad.
You know who's losing in all this? We just brought his name up. Callahan.
Right. Yeah, of course he is. He wants the quarterback because for him, here's the thing. For him to get Cam Ward or Sanders, but probably Ward, in his mind, because they all have egos, I can make him into Burrow.
That and it restarts the clock. for him in his tenure.
It
Yeah.
does, right?
You know, when
And-
you get a new quarterback.
And if the quarterback shows signs of development in a positive way, the record doesn't matter.
Yeah, and then if you're like, well, how are you firing him? You know, Callahan in January, you got to restart again. New staff, new coordinator coming in. It truly is a blank show to do all
Yeah.
that. That's why take the pressure off, trade out of it right now, and go for it.
I can tell you this, if they don't end up taking a quarterback in the draft this year, then Brian Callahan is dead man walking. Because basically they're just saying
Yeah.
like, yeah, no, you're going to be out of here.
You're right.
So
It's a
That's-
tough situation. That's what happens when you're no good.
yep. Well, it's what happens when you're no good and have, bad structure, and that's what they've had.
Top to bottom, bro.
This week's Nashville's best deal comes from Bad Axe Throwing in downtown Nashville. It's the downtown's largest axe throwing venue and your go-to spot for food, fun, and vibes. Enjoy panoramic views of the city, a killer soundtrack, craft cocktails from the full bar, and a Northwoods-inspired menu with a Southern twist. This week, score half off a $50 gift card while supplies last. Just head to theGameNashville.com/deals and grab yours now. Coming up next, we'll tell you what day it is and celebrity birthdays. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game on this Monday. I've had a lot of fun today. Appreciate Jill Jelnick and Brett Kern for joining us and all of you for participating. Real quick, a few people. Brandon Mount Juliet says it's so easy. Sign Rodgers and draft Hunter, taking care of the present and the future. Jordan in Nashville, if you want entertainment, go trade for Joe Milton. Hail Mary from the 5-yard line on every play.
I'd love that.
Donovan and Franklin said the Jets had a better roster and was still trash. Had Wilson and his boy Devontae and did nothing. Pass on Rodgers, and he had Breece Hall in the backfield.
Okay. All right.
There you go. So, who trades back, and how do you get Callahan to accept being a sacrificial lamb? I agree with what you're saying, but don't think it's feasible.
Ew.
Yep, that would be it. With that, let's get to what day is it and celebrity birthdays. Brought to you by Jarrett Companies, Inc., above and beyond industry standards. The only company you need for commercial construction services. Just visit them at jarrettcompaniesinc.com. Ian, take it away.
Okay. Today is National Crayon Day. So happy National Crayons
Your kids love
Day.
crayons, I'm
the
sure.
kindergarten's going to love that. It is also National Prom Day.
Prom?
Prom.
Prom.
Prom. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure why. It's not quite prom season yet.
Oh, it
Um,
is.
Yeah, so we're getting
My
there.
son's prom is Saturday.
Okay. Well, I
Is he
stand
going?
corrected.
He is going.
Nice.
Okay. Let's see. We have National Clams on the Half Shell Day.
Okay.
Not
like-
a big clam guy, but sure. National Bunsen Burner Day. Happy to all the
Don't burn your
science
Bunsen.
to all the science teachers out there. Hopefully you have a great day of celebrating. And it's National Tater Day. So
Tater?
get out them taters.
Oh,
Let them rip, Tater Chip.
If Pete Weber is listening to this, he is making an order for our friend Ryan Porth
he
right
is,
now.
isn't he? Yes. There might be a special delivery of several sacks of potatoes headed
Yes.
someone's way. Yes.
Yep.
So yeah, fun day.
Is that it?
Yeah,
that all we
that's
got?
what we got right now.
That's
Good
all
job,
there is. All right, time for celebrity birthdays. You have to get these within 2, and you're taking the spot of one Dr.
that's right.
Crane today.
Okay.
Our first birthday, actor Christopher Walken. How old is Christopher Walken?
More cowbell. 76.
78.
82 years old.
Oh man.
Actress Rhea Perlman. She played on Cheers. Carla on Cheers.
Yeah, I was about to say that's Carla. 77.
79.
77 exactly. Chased her out of the gate, 2-0. Actor Ian McGregor. Wasn't he one of those little weird Star Wars movies you like?
Ewan McGregor?
Ewan McGregor.
Is that what it is?
Ewan McGregor was in Star Wars.
yeah, he's Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Obi-Wan.
55.
It's a good guess. 58.
54. Chase
Nice.
up 3-0. Yeah, Chase, you're rolling on this today. I don't know who this actress is, but we're going to skip by her. Don't know who this is. We'll skip by her. And so these people are famous. I've never heard of them, but that's okay though. Actor William Daniels on St. Elsewhere, Boy Meets World. He was the voice of Kit on Knight Rider.
74.
80.
98.
Oh.
Musician Herb Alpert from the Tijuana Brass. Herb Alpert, such an influential musician. How old is he?
84.
75.
90. Comedian Gabe Kaplan. Cotter. Welcome back, Cotter. Fun fact, he's still alive.
90.
85.
81. Guitar player Angus Young of AC/DC.
78.
75.
70. Rapper Tony Yayo. You know Tony Yayo.
Yay, yo. 45.
40.
47. The fact that you got that, who I've never heard of, is pretty good, man. You're up 4-0. Ian, come on, buddy. I took you on the money line. Who else? Oh, Al Gore. Happy birthday, former Vice President Al Gore.
You are hearing me talk. I'm gonna say 75.
I'll go 70.
77. Chase up 5-0. Chase is doing a Greg Maddox on you, Ian. All right, down to the last four. Let's see here. Actor Ed Marinero was on Hill Street Blues, spent 6 years playing for the Minnesota Vikings. Good actor, good football player.
73.
65.
75. Chaser 6-0. One more at skunk territory, Ian. Mark Tuinei, former Dallas Cowboy offensive lineman. This is good now. We hadn't had a skunk in a long time.
70.
68.
Oh, he's 65 almost.
Mm.
Down to the last two. John Taylor, former San Francisco 49ers wide receiver, caught the game-winning touchdown pass in one of those Super Bowls. John Taylor.
68.
58.
63. Last birthday on the border of a shutout. Chased up 6-0. Pavel Bure. Is that how you say his
Bure.
name? Hockey
Pavel
player?
Bure. Yeah.
Yeah. How old's Pavel? Pavel. I like that name, Pavel.
41.
50.
54.
Uh,
Chase wins it 6-0. That's Ian. You got two more times this week, Bubba. You'll be
you got
good.
this. Brought to you by Jarrett Companies, Inc., above and beyond industry standards. Visit them at jarrettcompanies.inc.com.
Hey, we leave our show as always to our guys out there. If you are struggling, please talk to somebody on your cell phone who can call or text 988. There's always help there for you. Reach out to us. When you reach out, you are saving your life. And know that we love that, and we're here for you, and people are here for you. As we say, your journey is a beautiful journey. It's your journey, and we're here to help you out. Remember, we love you more importantly, more than anything else. God loves you.
Amen to that. Peace, love, rock and roll. DVD coming up next here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game.